If you've ever felt like you're holding everything together, faith, family, and a million daily pressures, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Light Within a Home, a space to breathe, reset, and bring calm back to your heart and home. This is where we stop just managing life and start transforming it. Through Islamic wisdom and modern wellness, we'll explore how to build a home that fuels your soul and strengthens your family. Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm your host, Sister Farah. Let's get started. In the last episode, we talked about daily rhythms of barakah, how small routines and rituals shape the emotional and spiritual climate of our homes. But here's an important question for you all. What happens inside those routines? You can pray together, eat together, and follow a schedule, yet still feel disconnected, tense, or misunderstood. Because peace isn't about what we do, it's about how safe people feel while doing it. I want you to imagine this. A child feels safe expressing frustration without fear of being dismissed. A spouse feels heard instead of corrected. A home where emotions are acknowledged, not minimized. Where mistakes are met with guidance, not shame. Where love is felt, not just assumed. That kind of home doesn't happen by accident. It's built through emotional safety, compassionate communication, and the prophetic language of the heart. In today's episode, we explore how to create emotional safety in the Muslim home, blending Sunnah, psychology, and practical tools to help your family feel deeply connected, secure, and understood. So what is emotional safety and why does it matter? Emotional safety is a feeling that I can be myself here without fear of rejection, ridicule, or punishment. When emotional safety exists, people open up more, conflicts soften, trust deepens, and the hearts are more connected. When it's missing, family members tend to shut down. Communication turns defensive. Small issues become big wounds that sometimes take a very long time to heal. Think of emotional safety like oxygen. You don't notice it when it's there, but without it, everything else becomes to suffocate. I'll say it one more time. Think of emotional safety like oxygen. You don't notice it when it's there, but without it, everything else begins to suffocate. Let's have a mindset shift from they should know I love them to how does my love feel to them? The Prophet, peace be upon him, didn't just teach Islam, he modeled emotional wisdom at the highest level. There is so much we can learn from him. He listened without interrupting. He never mocked emotions. He validated feelings before offering guidance. And he adjusted his responses based on the emotional state of others. When a man came overwhelmed, the Prophet, peace be upon him, didn't lecture him. He met him with gentleness. When children spoke, he got down to their level. When mistakes happened, correction came with dignity, not humiliation. Rahmah before correction. That is a key Sunnah principle that the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us. In our homes today, this can mean a pause before reacting, curiosity before judgment, connection before discipline. Because hearts open when they feel safe. Modern neuroscience confirms what Islam taught us centuries ago. When a person feels emotionally safe, there's so many amazing things that happen. The nervous system calms, the brain shifts out of fight or flight, listening and empathy increases, emotional regulation improves. But when someone feels criticized, dismissed, or shamed, the amygdala activates, the body prepares for defense, and communication shuts down. And I'm sure some of you listening has felt this way before. This is why tone matters. How we speak matters more than what we say. Predictability plus compassion is the best formula for emotional safety. When our speech is rooted in dhikr, sabr, and shukr, it doesn't just calm the brain, it softens the heart. So we're going to do an emotional safety check-in. This can help us assess how emotionally safe our home feels and make small intentional shifts. So as I'm going through this, start reflecting, start thinking about it. You can do it by yourself, or if you have a family member nearby, you guys can do it together. Notice the signals. Ask yourself, do family members feel comfortable expressing emotions in your home? Are mistakes met with support or shame? Do we listen to understand or to correct? And then next reflection is to choose one emotional anchor. Just like routines create rhythm, emotional anchors create safety. Choose one practice this week, such as naming emotions. An example is, it sounds like you're frustrated. A few words that can go a long way. Validating feelings before problem solving. Practicing calm tone even during correction. Ending the day with appreciation. Step 3, use the prophetic pause. Before responding, ask yourself, is my response rooted in rahmah and mercy? Will this bring us closer or push us apart? And then step 4, reflect together. Ask yourself, what made us feel most connected this week? What moment needed more gentleness? These 4 points are a great way to have an emotional safety check-in throughout the week. It's a great way for you to reflect and for other family members to also reflect together. Homes where hearts can rest are the most beautiful homes. The most peaceful homes aren't perfect. They're safe. Safe to feel, safe to speak, and safe to grow. When emotional safety exists in a home, discipline becomes guidance. Communication becomes connection. And routine becomes relationship. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that hearts are entrusted to us, and how we hold them matters. When love feels safe, barakah flows. So I want to ask you all to have a challenge. It's called a 7-day emotional safety practice. It's very similar to the reflection we just did together, but this is going to be a week challenge for the upcoming week. This week, you're not just learning about emotional safety. We're practicing it together. Think of this as a gentle reset for how your home feels, not just how it functions. On day 1 of this challenge, practice the listening reset. Have one 5 to 10 minute conversation with a family member where your only job is to listen. The rules are no correcting, no fixing, and no interrupting. Use simple reflections instead, such as, I hear you. That sounds really hard. Thank you for telling me that and sharing that with me. And then reflect on this practice. How did it feel to listen without responding? How did the other person's body language shift? Sometimes we're so used to responding without actually listening to what they're saying. But when you listen and just focus on listening, the conversations become so much more meaningful. On day 2, name the emotion. Name an emotion you notice in someone else before addressing the behavior. For example, you can say, it seems like you're feeling overwhelmed. I hear frustration in your voice. You look disappointed. And then reflect, did naming the emotion soften the moment? Sometimes when you name the emotion and before addressing the behavior, the other person feels more likely to open up to you. They feel more safe to open up to you. So naming the emotion is a beautiful way to start the conversation and to support the other person with the behavior and emotions that they're feeling in that moment. And it will soften the moment together. On day 3, the prophetic pause. Before responding to tension, pause for one deep breath and silently say to yourself, "Oh Allah, let my words be gentle." And then respond. Reflect. What changed when you slowed your response? Instead of quickly responding, take a deep breath and ask Allah for guidance to let your words be gentle, and then see what happens after. And then reflect. What changed when you slowed your response down? On day 4, it's going to be a gentle repair. Practice repairing one moment, big or small, by saying, "I could have said that more gently." Or, "I'm sorry if my tone felt harsh." Or, "I want to understand you better." And then reflect. How did repair impact trust and connection? On day 5, appreciate out loud. Practice verbally appreciating each family member for something specific. For example, "I appreciate how patient you were today." Or, "Thank you for helping even when you were tired." And then reflect. How did appreciation change the emotional climate of the home? Appreciation goes a long way. On day 6, it's family safety check-in. Practice asking one simple question at dinner or bedtime. You could ask, "What made you feel safe or supported today? What was hard today?" And listen without judgment. And then reflect. What did you learn about each other? And then, on day 7, the connection circle. End the week with a short family moment. Share one thing you appreciated this week. Make a short dua together, asking Allah to place sakinah, tranquility, in your home. And then reflect. What shifted in your family this week? And you don't have to do this practice consecutively. You can choose what works for you based on what's happening in that day. But following this weekly guide can promote emotional safety in your home and really work towards repairing relationships and helping it grow. You don't need to do this perfectly. You just need to do it intentionally. Emotional safety isn't built in grand moments. It's built in small, consistent acts of gentleness. And that is exactly what this challenge will do for you. And I can't wait to hear more about it. Share your reflections using #LightWithinTheHome and continue spreading calm, mercy, and connection. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.